Emotions. Do you have emotions? I have emotions. All seriousness, I think I'm just delirious, but we're just gonna keep going. Because honestly, I just need to go to bed, but I gotta get this information out. See, I just did it. It wasn't that hard. But all joking aside, I can tell you that before all this went down, I felt like an above average communicator and a very emotion controlled human being. And since this has all been going on, I feel like it's the exact opposite, which is really weird to experience if you've never experienced that before. But all that to say that from a relationship standpoint, and just as a human being in general, I'd say communication has been one of the greatest challenges for me. To feel the things that I'm feeling and try to effectively communicate them. So I wanted to talk about that with you, and yeah, we'll get to nutrition this week, and it's going to be awesome. We got some great stuff, but this has been really helpful for me, and so in order to provide value, I got to share it with you. There's three things: being accurate, saying it out loud, and using the right semantics. And I'll explain. I assume that because my wife has a sixth sense and knows when I've stepped through a certain part of the house with dirty shoes or put the fork in the wrong tray, that she also can read my mind, which is obviously not true. And there's a psychologist in Great Britain, his name's Watkins, and he says that the ability to emote and verbalize is what separates from animals, babies, and immature 5-year-olds. And so I'm reminded, God, if I'm going to actually be an adult, I have to verbalize. And it's not whining, it's not complaining, it's just communicating, even if it's less than perfect. Now, the way that we can up the ante from there is actually trying to be a little bit more accurate with what we're feeling. Another psychologist, Robert Plutkick, developed this emotional wheel. Have you ever seen this? It's pretty cool. And, he labeled 8 different core emotions that we could feel. It's kind of like the Inside Out movie: joy, sadness, anger, disgust, acceptance, fear, surprise, and anticipation. But any guess on how many emotions a human being could actually experience? Do you know what the number is? Let's say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 34,000. That was exactly right. It's a lot. That convicts me that maybe I shouldn't say that I'm angry all the time or that I'm tired all the time. Maybe I could be a little more creative. Maybe I could be a little more specific with what I'm feeling. So instead of anger, maybe it is annoyance. Maybe it's anxiousness or impatience. Words make a big difference. Wouldn't you agree? So my challenge to you is to be creative, and better yet, use an SAT word that nobody knows. If you say that you're feeling perturbation, they won't know if you're upset or a pervert. Lastly, semantics mean a lot, meaning that the way that you even communicate the emotion makes a big deal. Now, third psychologist, Susan David from Harvard, talks about emotional agility, and that instead of being encumbered or absorbed by the things that we're feeling, we could use some vocabulary that just detaches us from this. So instead of saying, I am Spencer's anger, you could just say, man, I'm having this thought that this thing is making me feel this way. There's a great book called Love and Respect, and in there it talks about the XYZ, that when you do this, it makes me feel this way, right? And once again, it's the semantics of just saying, hey, I'm angry, but using a little bit more vocabulary to give yourself some distance from it. Last but not least is to play your own devil's advocate. And the easiest way to do that is to add the word but to the end of the sentence. I feel like nobody appreciates anything I do. That could be one sentence to describe how you're feeling. But just add the word but and see it from a different point of view. I feel like nobody appreciates what I do. But I probably feel that way because I haven't actually told them how hard I'm working or that they know that I'm actually doing anything. So look, am I an expert on this stuff? No. But I can tell you that I've come face to face with my inadequacy when it comes to dealing with the emotional bandwidth that I'm being exposed to here. And if you're like me, I hope that saying it out loud, being accurate, and using the right semantics can be helpful for you. Until next time, you dirtbags.